So, we kicked off a series last week on friendship. Matt did week 1, and I started writing my talk, and I had this whole intro about how childhood is changing and how technology is shifting the way that you make friendships and has kind of defined your childhood. I'd written that, and then a trailer drops for Toy Story 5, which is a series of movies that is all about childhood and friendship, and what childhood looks like and what defines our childhoods. And the whole premise of the new trailer, the new movie, is that technology is transforming childhood. And the way children are growing up is changing because of technology. And I'm like, that's quite literally what I was just writing a talk about. But for each of you, you probably don't realize that you have had a historically abnormal childhood because you've grown up in the last 10, 15 years, which has been a very strange time in human history for 2 reasons. The first one is that you are digital natives. This idea that we just talked about technology is transforming the way that we kind of connect with each other in the way that when I was growing up, I had a Nintendo Entertainment System. And so I had these 8-bit video games that I could play. I had a Game Boy that if you put batteries in it, you'd have like 2 hours of battery life, and then it would die, and we shared it for the whole family. Sure, there was technology, but most of my childhood was spent outside, exploring, having adventures, building things, getting in accidents, breaking bones, smashing fingers, things like that. I have multiple deformed fingers because of my childhood, and it's for the best. And childhood has shifted because of technology. So much so that you've been raised since before you could talk, looking at screens. There was an incident that happened that just kind of blew my mind when, I don't remember if it was my son Liam, daughter Chloe, one of them could not talk yet, and they grabbed their grandmother's phone who was having trouble like navigating some app. And this child that could not talk yet grabbed the phone and started swiping, navigating the phone. I'm like, this is crazy. This grown woman that is a profession, can't figure out how the technology works, but this child, having been raised on technology, is so native to it that it can't speak, but it can navigate technology. And it blew my mind, but you've grown up in a time period where you're on technology extensively, and many of your friendships are largely over technology, whether that's gaming, whether that's texting, whatever it is, you're connecting with people over technology. And you can see as like the people at Pixar that make the Toy Story movies went, childhood is changing in ways that are unprecedented because of technology. And we're not going outside, we're connecting over a device. Second reason your childhood is unprecedented, beyond just technology changing, is that you are the COVID generation. That during your formative years, whether you were 5 when it hit, whether you were 12 when it hit, there was this weird gap where you stayed home, it was dangerous to be around people, were wearing masks, and one of the only ways you could connect with people was over technology. It's not that technology was bad, technology kept you in contact with people at a weird window in all of human history where that's what you could do. But COVID was this bizarro disruption during formative years where, like, I had a strange observation that, like, the first time my kids started doing sleepovers was like several years removed, several years later than whenever I first started having sleepovers with friends. I was like, why did that happen? Oh, right, because during those formative years, you didn't leave your house. You didn't have people over because it was this strange little window of time. So however young, whether you're 12, middle school, kindergarten, when it hit, and during that time period, there was normal interactions that would usually be in person that were disrupted because of the world that you grew up in. Combine that with the technology, you've had a weird childhood, a very strange combination that affects the way that we connect with one another. And so what we're looking at today is trying to figure out, what are friendships supposed to look like? And how are we supposed to have friendships? We're going to talk a lot about stuff. It's very practical, a lot of illustrations, examples, but what does starting friendships look like? How do they keep going deeper? And what are the dangers with friendships? And then likewise, what are the rewards that come with deep, meaningful friendships that aren't just texting someone, but doing life with other people. As we go into this, we're going to be, if you're taking notes, we're going to have 4 levels of friendship. So if you're a note taker, you probably want to space those out because each level is going to have principles and it's going to have verses and stuff like that. So I'm going to put this up on the screen. Also, if you want to start trying to guess what some of the words are, make it interactive, have fun doing that too. But starting with level 1 friendship starts with shared interests. Little note on this. This is a very practical sort of talk. I'm looking at Proverbs. So if you've got a Bible, we're going to be in Proverbs the entire time, looking at a number of different Proverbs. There's a difference between Sean says and Bible says. Bible says is word of God. And that's what the verses say. Some of this is just practical advice from me. Please distinguish between the two. The level stuff is just me giving a structure to organize my thoughts. The principles are word of God. But level 1 friendship are shared interests. Virtually all friendships start with shared interests. It makes sense. You don't meet someone and go, let me tell you about my wounds from my childhood. Let me tell you about my greatest fear. You don't start a friendship being super vulnerable unless you're a very talkative person. Most people, you see someone wearing a shirt for something you like and you go, hey, I like that band too. Hey, I like them too. Do you think this team's going to win this game? You find someone with shared interests, someone you feel comfortable around, someone you have fun with. So even like here, you show up on Sunday mornings, you find people that make you laugh, that are playing the same games outside with you, and it starts with shared interests, fun experiences, playing sports, being in the same club. It starts with this basic bridge of I'm interested, I'm entertained by the same thing as you. That's where most friendships start, as simple as that. And that's why it's sometimes easy to make friends online, because there's a video game you like, you go on the internet to play that game, and you find other people playing that same game. And if they make a joke about a thing you're interested in, boom, you found an online friend. Shared interest, 2 shared interests, boom, friendship made. Like, or in my case, I talked about this many times, my day job is I am a YouTuber. Quite literally, the phrase for my channel is, I started my YouTube channel because I was driving everyone around me in person crazy talking about movies way too much. So I went on the internet to find other people equally irritating when it comes to talking about movies. And that's my whole channel is built around. I'm seeking people with the same obsession that I have. It's the whole concept. That's where friendships start. We have shared interests with other people. Here's our big idea for the day. We're going to say it now. We're going to loop back around to it later on. Every friendship starts with shared interests, but the strongest ones end with a shared life. It starts with, we both like Five Nights at Freddy's. We both like basketball. We both like Texas A&M. Pick your thing. You find someone that's the shared interest, but that's the starting point and not the end point of where we want great friendships. There's nothing wrong with surface level friendships, but we also need friendships that go deeper than that. True friendships are more than just fun. Fun is where friendship starts, but fun alone can't sustain a friendship. We're talking about people that transform our lives and things like that. It has to go deeper than that, and that's kind of what we'll be talking about. But the reality is surface level friendships also have surface level amounts of loyalty to them. Proverbs 18:24 says, there are friends who destroy each other. Some of you have been lucky enough to not experience that. And some of you have experienced that a few too many times. But a real friend sticks closer than a brother. That's kind of what we're looking at today. How there's certain friendships that can be dangerous. But what are those ones that look like a brother, that look like a sister, people that we do life with? Those surface level friends, those level 1 friends, people that you just sit with at the table in the cafeteria, those can be a lot of fun, but you also need to be careful with friends that it's just surface level, because you can have fair weather friends, people that only want to spend time around you when it's convenient. They only want to spend time around you if you're the only option. There are people that are like that, which You can learn that very, very painful ways. There was a time where a group of people were like, hey, we're going to go to a concert. Do you want to go to the concert? I was like, yeah, absolutely. That'd be awesome. So got tickets to the concert. They're like, hey, can you drive us? I was like, absolutely. I've got a car. So loaded up my car, drove a bunch of people to the concert. We got there. And as soon as we got there, they left me to hang out with other people. They just wanted me to go because I had a car and I could drive them there, which is the worst feeling in the world, to go somewhere with people you think want to spend time with you, but really they just need a ride somewhere. And kind of exposed immediately their true character of kind of what was going on, of they just used me as a tool for an objective. And so sometimes those surface level friends, sometimes they're a ton of fun, they're all good. It's not to say that surface level friends are bad, but also they can be dangerous. They can be people that are just fair weather friends that are using you. There's a movie that came out that was sometimes painfully too realistic called Mean Girls. There's actually two of this movie. Another one came out a year or two ago that was the exact same movie, except it was a musical. But this movie, Mean Girls, essentially it's all about this girl moves to town and is trying to make friends with people. There's kind of two groups of friends she's around. One of them are people that seem to actually care about her, and the other are the popular kids. And so the popular kids, she starts making friends with them, thinking, oh, wow, I'm making friends with these popular kids and I'm fitting in. She wants to fit in at this new place, but they're just using her. And it's all about these people that pretend to be friends so long as it's convenient, so long as there isn't a better option, and then it just turns mean and nasty as per the title of the movie. But it's like people behaving horribly to each other while pretending to be friends. And the reason the movie has kind of stood the test of time, I think someone said it's their mom's favorite movie, is because it was a little bit too true. And it's too relatable. And it's like, I think even my wife has said, like, I don't want to watch that movie. It just reminds me of too many people I knew. Exactly. Those surface level friendships can be fun, but also we need friendships that are deeper than that. And you got to be careful of people that are just taking advantage of you. So moving through this, it's fine to have friendships that are just around interests, but if we want to go deeper, what's that next level of friendship? And that's going to be shared presence. Being in someone else's life. It says in Proverbs 27, verse 27, 9 and 10, the heartfelt counsel of a friend is as sweet as perfume and incense. Never abandon a friend, either yours or your father's. This next verse is a little bit weird with the way that it's phrased, but I can explain the point. When disaster strikes, you won't ask your brother for assistance. It's better to go to a neighbor than to a brother who lives far away. That sounds weird at first. It's like, don't ask your brother for help. But what it's saying is, you don't need to go off to your brother way over there. Have someone in your life that's right here. Have people in your life that are present, your neighbor, that see you daily. Not just people, your family that's far away, but people that are present in your life today. And there's kind of three observations, if you could kind of put this next slide up here. Back. That one right here. Mentions three different things. The heartfelt counsel of a friend, people that are present, that can speak into your life, that don't abandon you, and it just says go to your neighbor, someone that's there. The whole idea is you need friends that are present in your life, that care about you, that they actually see your day-to-day life, what is going on in your life. They know what is happening, and they love and care about you. You need those types of friends, not just people that also like to play Fortnite, or also play Minecraft, or also play basketball, but people that care about you, not just interests that are shared. They care about you, and they are present to be there for you. Now you can put the principle up on the screen. Level 2 friends show up. They're present. And this is like, it is possible to have online friends that really do care about you. I have some people that I'm friends with through YouTube that are dear friends of mine. It's a lot easier to do life with people and to be present when you are present. One of the dangers of online friends is you can pretend to be whoever you want. You can hide whatever you want because it's all through technology. When you're in the same room as someone, talking to them, you can see when they're down. You can see when they're hurting. You can see when they're not acting the way they normally act. And when you're present and you care about someone, you can follow up on that. And so it's so important to have people in your life that care about you, not just your interests, but you, and are present to see that. So just kind of throw some examples of people that have kind of been this in my life in different ways. If you know one of the pastors here, Michael Hall, I've only gotten to know him over the last few years. And you can't say like I have a super deep friendship with him, but he's someone that has always been incredibly encouraging to me. There's literally been times where he's called me up on a Sunday morning. I'm not even awake. He wakes me up. I pretend to be awake, like, oh, hey, what's going on? He's like, I'm speaking at another church. I was just thinking about you, and I wanted to encourage you. Like, out of the blue, just called me, woke me up to encourage me. And like, here, I've seen this, and I saw this in you, in what you're doing, and I'm so grateful for you. I thought it, and I just wanted to say it to you. It's so important to have people in your life that care enough about you to encourage you, and are thinking of you and saying things to you that are that lift your soul. Do you have people in your life that care enough about you, that are around enough to speak life into you? Or kind of a very different example in the opposite direction, when son Liam was born, all was healthy, everything was good, and they ran all their tests and they said, you're fine, you're good to go. So we went home, and after we'd been home with him, and you're like so excited, we're new parents, we've been parents for 2 days, holding him. Then the doctors call us and they go, actually, just kidding, we got the time wrong on this one test that we ran. Your kid is sick, rush to the hospital. Every new parent's, what's the last thing you want to hear? Like, we had a mistake with your newborn baby. We need you to get to the hospital immediately. Speed to the Dell Children's Hospital, run into the ER, and tell them this, and they will get you where you need to go. That is not exactly what happened. We got to the hospital, went to the ER, and they put us basically on the wrong floor, or the right floor was all filled up. For the regular NICU was filled up, so they put us on the wrong floor with people that didn't know how to use the correct equipment. So basically he was jaundiced, and there's certain things that were off, and they had to, when you're jaundiced, you need sunlight basically. So they take this guy right here, and they put him in a baby incubator that basically just shoots light on him. But the people on the floor did not know how to operate the machine. So they put him in it and cooked him. And so, like, at one point in time, we were like, the alarms are going off. I walk over to it, like, what is going on here? I pull my own kid out of the device, like, what are you guys doing? And he's like, takes him a while to wake up because they've cooked him a little bit too much. You're not supposed to cook newborn babies, but that's what they did. So basically, it turns into this crazy deal where we're like, our newborn baby is, we're rushing to the hospital, cooking our baby. We're like freaking out, not sure what to do. It got pretty bad. Had to be a little bit mean to the nursing staff because they were just not listening. Where am I going with all this? Then some of our friends from the church showed up. Many of you know them, the Worthens showed up and basically stayed with us because we weren't able to sleep because we had to nurse our own kid because the staff was so incompetent. So we have no sleep. So they show up to allow us to sleep. They want interference with the nurses. They encourage us. And like, it was so stressful. But we had friends that dropped everything to come and see us as soon as we said we had a need. Because they're present in our life and they cared enough about us to drop everything. And some of it's kind of funny the way we're saying it. It was not funny when you've had a kid for 3 days and the nurses are cooking your baby. It's not funny. It's funny now that he's fine in the 8th grade. It was not funny at the time. And actually, we're able to continue to sue the hospital all the way up until he's 18, so we're just waiting for him to go off the rails so we can do that and get a big payday. Right, Jennifer? Ah, that's the fun part. Real friends show up. But for people to show up, here's the risk of that level of friendship. you have to be vulnerable. You have to risk letting people know what's going on in your life. You have to risk letting people in. So you shouldn't let everybody that you meet be a level 2. There's people, you should keep them at level 1. But everybody needs those deeper friendships. And to go deeper, you have to risk sharing what's really going on, being honest with what's happening. When I was your age, I wasn't very good at that. My parents got divorced when I was in the 6th grade. I didn't tell any of my friends. My mom was in a car accident when I was in the 11th grade. She was in the hospital for 2 months. I didn't really talk to my friends about it. So I was in a little bubble dealing with my stuff by myself. I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I'd opened up to my friends around me. But that requires being vulnerable and honest. And that's even one of the reasons as a church, why do we have C groups for middle schoolers, D groups for high schoolers? To provide an environment where you can safely be vulnerable, and there's a mentor there that can guide the conversations for how to properly go deeper into friendships while moving towards Jesus. That's why we do them. Help you grow towards Jesus in a community and hopefully make great friends. Realizing I'm running short on time. Moving right along, the next level, following up. We need people that show up. Level 3 is shared growth. We need people that challenge us to be the best version of ourselves. The reason that your parents worry about your friends is because they know who you spend time with, you will become like. Whoever your friends are, you will start shifting and drifting towards them. And so therefore your parents want to make sure you're around people that will help you grow into who they think you should be. Hopefully that's a disciple of Jesus, a good person. But that's why parents worry about it. And this principle applies true. It says in Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens you. Level 3 friendships, good friendships. You need people in your life that challenge you. I've got a picture of myself. I took this morning of me sharpening a knife. Apparently I wear this shirt all the time in my office, and I put the camera in this. No, that's ridiculous. No AI has been used this morning. None of it whatsoever. But when you sharpen a knife, it requires friction, contact. It's abrasive. It makes noise. It can make sparks because you're rubbing metal together, striking it. That is how iron sharpens iron. That's how things happen. It requires friction and conflict. True friends care enough to say hard things to you. They're there for you during hard times. They encourage you during hard times, but they're also willing to have hard conversations with you and confront you. Real friends don't just support you, they sharpen you. They challenge you. It says in Proverbs 27:6, wounds from a sincere friend are better than kisses from an enemy. You need people in your life. Come on, guys. Seriously, calm down. You need people in your life who are willing to say things that hurt a little bit, but for your good. They're not out of anger. They're not out of they're because they love and care about you and stop you from embarrassing yourself. There was an incident at the Olympics a couple years back that went viral. A dancer named Ray Gunn joined the breakdancing team for Australia. And, if you could just play this video real quick. Kangaroo hop. Here we go. That's at the Olympics. To show off her dance moves, she laid on her side and started running in a circle, which is literally a bit that was in the TV show The Simpsons, where Homer Simpson did the exact same thing. She went to the Olympics, the global competition for her dance moves, and did that. And the whole time I was watching it when it went viral is like, how did this make it to the Olympics? And the whole time I'm thinking, both, how did she qualify? This is crazy. And also, how did no one in her life say, don't do that? There you go. please, this is not global stage worthy. Like, I get that the kangaroo dance, but you're going to the Olympics and you look crazy. Nobody told her no, and they really needed to. You need friends that will tell you no. Or to give a real life example, whenever I was introducing Jennifer to my friends, we met up at a Whataburger and met up with this guy named Kevin. This is a young us. This is quite literally 2005. Very old. Meet up with Kevin, and sometimes I act up. If you might not know, sometimes I get a little weird, and I was acting really obnoxious, and all of my obnoxious energy was channeled towards Jennifer, so much so at one point in time, she reaches over and she kicks me out of the booth. Like, you can see she's on the inside. She turns and she physically kicks, she assaulted me. But that's how bad I was behaving. So I go to refill my drink. Kevin follows me over to the drink fountain. He goes, Sean, what are you doing? Why are you being a jerk to your girlfriend? She seems great and you seem awful. So in those moments I went, what am I doing? What? I'm not being cute. I'm not being funny. Jennifer just kicked me to stop me from doing whatever I'm doing. What is this? So Jennifer has always liked Kevin for that reason. And literally within the last week, Kevin emailed me, and we might actually end up going to a concert later this year, and the three of us might actually go to that. But he was willing to confront me and say, Sean, you need to be nicer to your girlfriend. You need to stop being completely obnoxious. So who is in your life that is willing and able to confront you when you're being stupid? Or tell you, hey, maybe don't do the kangaroo dance at the Olympics. Maybe that's not your best move or the best idea. Another principle, honest wounds from a friend protect you. Who is someone that's willing to hurt you a little bit, confronting you, to protect you from something much worse? And one of the things in life that is gut-wrenching as you get older is to have friends that you've confronted and said, you can see the path they're on, the person they're dating, this thing that they're doing, and you confront them and say, you're on the wrong path. This is not a good person to be with. And watch them continue down that path and the pain that it causes them. And probably every single one of your youth leaders, we could go through examples of people that we've known that you tried to do that iron sharpens iron, you tried to talk with them, and they just kept going down a path, and it destroyed them. It sometimes. So many examples I wish I could share, but they'd be too specific, but it's painful to watch people make choices when you know you tried to help them because you love them enough to talk with them. Final level on here, level 4 friendship is a shared life. One of the things that you want is to have friends that you truly do life with, long term. Not just we sit and have fun at a lunchroom table, but it turns into doing life together long term. People that you've grown with. Here's a weird thought, but it is 100% true. If you can look to the person to your left, look to the person to your right. You're looking at a wall. It doesn't apply. Some of you just looked at someone that is going to be a bridesmaid at your wedding or a groomsman at your wedding. It's a thought that's a little strange and weird. We think, running late, so we got to, we can rate it a little bit. I say that because those were my friends in my youth group, and having been in this youth ministry for long enough, people have met each other in this youth group and gotten married, and the whole wedding party was people from the youth group and youth leaders. And so it's true. There's people in this room you're going to do life with. So you want to do that right. So to real quickly just kind of walk through my life, you can put this next slide up here. And it's me. You can barely tell it's me because my glorious long hair is pulled in front of my face. This is Vincent on the left, and that's Peter on the right. If some of you have been around for a while, if you knew Lydia Butler, who's one of the Peep families here, that's her dad right there. I've known him since the 5th grade. I've known Vincent since the 3rd grade. And we met at church and became friends at church. Started at level 1 because we all liked Weird Al and Monty Python. And then if you throw this next slide up here, we also did music together. This is our 80s band that we put out an amazing music video. It's All for Love. It is incredible. It does exist. It is somewhere on YouTube if you can find it. It started with shared interests, but we were in D groups together. We went on mission trips together. As life went on, we started just really doing life together. There's people that you meet and you have real life with. Like when my dad died, who was there? Well, those were people that were in my life. Some of us at different times, we lived together at different phases. You know, the next picture up here, this is my wedding party right here. And you've got Kevin right there from Whataburger. He's introduced people over for me. Vincent's next to me, and on the far right, that's Peter. Next picture up here. This is Peter's wedding party. You will notice once again, me and Vincent on the left. That guy actually in the back, I actually talked with him. I'm also still friends with him. And we've gone through life. We met in a youth group. We were at each other's weddings. And then continuing on, if you can put this, I think there's one more picture. This is us a few years back. You know, if you guys know Andy, we're all kind of friends together. We still go to the movies. We still hang out. Like my kids are friends with Peter's kids. They hang out fairly regularly. And we've done life over a long period of time. There's more examples I could give. The Kirkland family, I've known Jeremy Kirkland for 30 years now. Gone through quite a bit of life and crazy stuff. We met summer 1995, Revive, our Florida trip. The one that Bobby Pruitt first did, that's where I met Jeremy Kirkland back in 1995. And we've been friends ever since. And we also played in a few bands together at different points in time. Why do I sell this? You need friendships that last. Back to our big idea that started all of this. Every friendship starts with shared interests, but shared lives is really the goal. Who are people that challenge you to be the best version of yourself, that are there for you when you're struggling, and that are committed for the long haul?